In this video I want to give you a general overview of the Sukhoi T-50, Russia's fifth stealth bomber generation. The Sukhoi PAK-FR Prospective Airborne Complex of Frontline Aviation is a fifth generation fighter program of the Russian Air Force. The Sukhoi PAK-FR is developed in collaboration by Sukhoi and Hall, Hinduism Aeronautics Limited, the Indian Air Force, which was agreed in 2007. Sukhoi is the name of the Russian Air Force manufacturer, which designed both civilian and military crafts. The PAK-FR is designed to be a stealthy, single-seated, twin-engine jet fighter. It will be the first operational aircraft in the Russian service to use stealth technology. Stealth technology, or low observable technology, is passive electronic countermeasures, which cover a range of techniques to make the aircraft less visible to radar, infrared and other detection methods. Infrared, first discovered by Sir William Herschel around 1800, is invisible electromagnetic radiation with longer wavelengths than visible light. Radar is a detection system that uses radio waves to determine range, angle and velocity of objects. The Sukhoi T-50 is a multi-role fighter designed for air superiority and attack roles. The fighter is planned to have supercruise, stealth, supermaneuverability and advanced avionics. Supercruise is supersonic speed with cargo, passengers and loaded weapons. Stealth makes the aircraft less visible to radar and other detection methods. Supermaneuverability is the ability to control and perform maneuvers that normally exceed poor aerodynamic mechanics. The T-50 is designed to overcome prior generation of fighter aircraft such as the MiG-29 and the Su-27. Now let's talk about the development of the aircraft. The T-50's maiden flight was repeatedly postponed after encountering technical problems in early 2007. In August 2009 it was acknowledged that problems with the engine remained unsolved. The first taxi test was successfully completed in December 2009. Taxi test is movement of an aircraft on the ground under its own power. When taxiing, the aircraft travels slowly. This ensures that the aircraft can be stopped quickly and not risking wheel damage on larger aircrafts if they accidentally turn off the paved surface. In January 2010, the first flight tests of the T-50 began. Piloted by the hero of the Russian Federation, Sergei Bogan, the aircraft's maiden flight took place in the Russian Far East. The first two prototypes lacked radar and weapon control systems. The following prototypes, in 2011 and 2012, were fully functional test aircraft. The first supersonic flight was in March 2011, followed by many more prototypes until today. The sixth prototype had its first flight on April 2016. The following clip demonstrates the supermaneuverability of the T-50 PAK-FR in action. Now let's take a deeper look into the model overview of the Sukhoi T-50. The T-50 has a blended wing-body fuselage. A blended wing-body is a fixed wing construction that has no clear dividing line between the wings and the aircraft's main body. The fuselage incorporates all moving, horizontal and vertical stabilizers. The form is composed of distinct wing and body structures. The wing itself is blended smoothly into the aircraft's main section. The vertical stabilizers tow inward to serve as the aircraft's air brake. The air brake or speed brake is a flight control surface used to increase drag or increase the angle of approach during landing of the aircraft. The aircraft incorporates thrust vectoring and adjustable leading-edge vortex controllers. They control the vortices generated by the leading-edge route extension and can provide trim and improved high angle of attack behavior, including quick stall recovery if the thrust vectoring system fails. The advanced flight control systems and thrust vectoring nozzles make the aircraft departure resistant and highly maneuverable in both pitch and yaw. This enables the aircraft to perform very high angle of attack maneuvers such as the Pukarev Cobra, along with flat rotations with little altitude loss. The weapons are housed in two tandem main weapon bays between the engine and the center of the aircraft, which eliminates drag from external stores and enables high performance compared to external carriage. The advanced engines and aerodynamics enable the T-50 to supercruise, which is sustained supersonic flight without using afterburners like most combat aircrafts do. Combined with its high fuel load, the T-50 has a supersonic range of over 1,500 kilometers. Now we know how the aircraft fundamentally functions. Let's take a deeper look into the stealth technology. The T-50 is designed to be the first operational aircraft in the Russian Air Force service to use stealth technology. Like other stealth fighters, such as the F-22, the airframe incorporates planform edge alignment to reduce its radar cross-section. The leading and trailing edges of the wing and control surfaces and serrated edges of the skin panels are carefully aligned to at several specific angles to reduce the number of directions the radar waves can be reflected. Weapons are carried internally within the airframe and antennas are recessed from the surface of the skin to preserve the aircraft's stealthy shape. The aircraft uses radar-absorbent material to absorb radar emissions and reduce the reflection back to the source. The canopy of the aircraft is treated with a coating to minimize the radar return of the cockpit and pilot itself. Now let's take a look at the engines of the aircraft. The early production batches of the T-50 used NPO Saturn 117 engines. The 117 engine is a highly improved variant of the engines that power the Su-27 family of aircraft. The 117 engine produces around 90 kN of dry thrust and 150 kN of thrust and afterburners. The engine itself have full authority digital engine control and are integrated into the flight control system to facilitate maneuverability and handling. The two 117 engines incorporate thrust vectoring nozzles and allow the aircraft to produce 3D vector movement in pitch, yaw and roll. The vectoring nozzles itself operate only in one plane. The chanting allow the aircraft to produce both roll and yaw by vectoring each engine nozzle differently, which can be seen in the short clip to the right. The aircraft's inlet incorporate variable intake ramps for increased supersonic efficiency and retraceable mesh screens to prevent foreign object debris being ingested to hinder engine damage. In the future, the T-50 will be equipped with a much more powerful engine. Compared to the old 117 engines, the new power plant will have increased thrust and fuel efficiency and lower costs in production. Since we already talked about the stealth technology and the engines, let's take a look at the armaments of the T-50. The Sukhoi T-50 has two tandem main internal weapon bays and two small triangular section weapon bays that are under the fuselage near the wing root. Internal carriage of the weapon preserves the aircraft's stealth and significantly reduces aerodynamic drag, which preserves kinematic performance compared to the performance with external carriage of the weapons. The high cruising speed is expected to sustainably increase weapon efficiency compared to its predecessors. For the main weapon base, there are 2 ejection launchers developed by Wimpel. One for missiles weighing up to 300 kilograms and for ordnance weighing up to 700 kilograms. The aircraft also has an internally mounted 30mm cannon near the right LEFCON route. For air-to-air combat, the T-50 is expected to carry 4 beyond visual range missiles in its 2 main weapon bays and 2 short-range missiles in the wing root weapon base. The primary medium-range missile is the active radar homing K-77M, upgraded from the R-77 variant with IES Seeker and conventional rear fins. The short-range missile is a heat-seeking missile K-47M2, which is an upgraded variant from R-74 with reduced cross-section for internal carriage. For longer-range targets, 4 large beyond visual range missiles can be carried, with 2 in each main weapon base. The main base can accommodate air-to-ground missiles as well as multiple 250 or 500 kg precision-guided bombs. The aircraft is also expected to carry further developed anti-ship missiles and anti-radiation missiles. For non-stealthy missions, the T-50 can carry missiles on its 6 external hardpoints. There is also a possibility of installation of BrahMos, a supersonic missile. But since BrahMos weighs up to 3 tons, only 2 missiles can be carried at once due to the heavy weight. Since most information about the T-50 armament are still in development or in secret, let's take a look at the cockpit. The T-50 has a glass cockpit with 2 38cm main functional LCD displays like the arrangement of the Su-35S. The cockpit has a wide-angle heads-up display and a new head-mounted side and display for the new helmet. The primary controls are the joystick and a pair of throttles. The aircraft uses a 2-piece canopy with the aft section sliding forward and locking into place. The canopy itself is treated with a special coating to preserve the aircraft's stealth. The T-50 has an ejection seat and life support system, which includes the oxygen generation system. The system holds up to 30 kg of oxygen that will provide the pilot with nearly unlimited oxygen supply. Life support systems will enable pilots to perform 9G maneuvers up to 30 seconds at a time, and the new partial pressure suit will allow safe ejection at altitudes up to 33 kilometers. In the video to the right you can see an example of an ejection from an aircraft. We already looked at the cockpit, the engines, the stealth technology and the model overview of the T-50. Let's take the last look into the avionics. The aircraft incorporates many avionics systems. The main avionics system are the multifunctional integrated radio system called MIRAS and the 101KS Atoll electro-optical system. The electro-optical system consists of the radar system and electronic countermeasure system, or active phased area radar, with 2 side-looking AESA X-band radars embedded in the cheeks of the forward fuselage for increased angular coverage. The suit has 2 L-band transceivers on the wing's leading edge extensions. L-band transceivers often used to communicate position information to the ground as well as between them for traffic information and avoidance. X-band transceivers on the other hand used often in modern radars. The shorter wavelengths of the X-band allow for higher resolution imagery from high resolution imaging radars for targeting identification. They are not only used to handle friend or foe identification, but also for electronic warfare purposes. Electronic warfare is the purpose to deny the opponent the advantage of the aim spectrum or ensure friendly, unimpeded access to it. Computer processing of the X and L-band signals are done by a special computer and processor which enables the system performance to be significantly enhanced. The aircraft incorporates a secure communication link to share data with other friendly aircrafts in the area. This secure communication link can also be used for airborne and ground-based control points. The electronic countermeasure suit uses both its own array and the radar system. One of its arrays is mounted on the dorsal sting between the 2 engines. The system was first mounted on the aircraft in 2014. The Atoll electronic optical system includes infrared search, and track turret mounted on the starboard side in the front of the cockpit. The sensor can detect, track, and identify multiple airborne targets at once. The infrared countermeasure system has a sensor housed in the turret and used the laser-based countermeasures against heat-seeking missiles. The airtor complex also includes the ultraviolet missile warning sensors and targeting pods. This wraps up all the avionics placed in the T-50 known today. Since the T-50 or Sukhoi PAK-FR is a collaborative development with Hall, there are also variants of the aircraft. The main variant of the FGFR, a completely joint version of the T-50 that differs from the current prototypes in 43 ways, with improved stealth, supercruise, sensors, networking, and combat avionics. The FGFR will be armed with weapons from Indian origin, such as the Astra, a beyond visual range missile. The FGFR will be a two-seater which has one pilot and a co-pilot who will function as a weapon system operator. The weapon system operator is responsible for detecting, targeting, and engaging air-to-air or ground targets, communications, data links, and or defensive systems. The role can also be customized based on experience, expertise, tactics, and weapons being employed. This means the pilot is only responsible for flying the aircraft in tactical situations. Since the aircraft is still in prototype, there's not much information left to show. Now you got an overview of the 5th generation stealth aircraft PAK-FR Sukhoi T-50. In comparison to its older generations, it's a highly effective aircraft that consists of new features and advanced avionics. The most important thing is that the Sukhoi T-50 is the first Russian stealth aircraft which can be deployed soon. A special thanks to the many resources I used to make this video. I hope you found the video informative and it gave you a general overview of the many features of the new Russian stealth aircraft.